Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Spellweaver speculation video. My name is Boltor, and today I really wanted to just do a quick video. Another busy weekend coming up, but I do have time for a quick video. And this one, I wanted to continue on with my Spellweaver speculation series, and primarily because I just want to use this art, or this picture that I've got up right now more. I'm going to apologize in advance for kind of how crude, I guess is the word, unpolished this presentation form is. You know, it's not as good as actual like gameplay or anything. And I know that YouTubers like Noxious, when they have cards come up, they can just like pull them up right on the screen and continue talking like they're in the game and everything. I'm not quite that advanced just yet. I'm working on it though. I am working on trying to figure out how a lot of this stuff works, but I have to kind of teach myself. But you guys know that. Anyway, so a while back when I think we were in closed beta, I put forth the idea of a rotation of dragons. And by that I mean a set of dragons, much like Red Dragon, you know, 4 mana, 4 level, 5/5, speed 3. All with abilities fitting to each aspect. So, like, you know, Red Dragon does Dragon's Breath, which is a spell. So I wanted to have a dragon with each one of these, each ability for each aspect, and that's basically what I've got today. This is I will throw out this disclaimer. These are not spoilers for the next set. These are not official cards. I apologize for that. My phone died. I had to start charging it. This is just me making cards for fun. There's my phone again. So this is not anything official. You know what I mean? I don't have an inside line to the devs. I don't have any information that you guys don't have access to yourselves. This is just me saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a card that did this, you know? So anyway, moving on. I also do want to preface this by saying there will only be 4 technically there'll be 5, but there will only be really 4 dragons. I didn't do a Rage Dragon because we already have a Rage Dragon, and I didn't do a Dominion Dragon because I feel like we don't need a Dominion Dragon with Lord Karthos doing his meta dominating thing. You know, he's basically a dragon. It's in power sense. So I didn't feel the need to make a Dominion. That, and I really had absolutely no idea what a Dominion Dragon would do. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So the first one, Black Dragon, which is the Corruption Dragon, as you guys can see. So he's got the exact same stats as Red Dragon: 4 mana, 4 levels, 2 of Corruption, 2 generic, 5/5, speed 3, flying, 4 mana ability. But this one is an enemy creature gets -4 attack, -4 health. And note how it's permanent. I really wanted each of these dragons to kind of have if I play this dragon, I'm gonna just win the game, you know. And that's kind of the effect I wanted to give each one of them, because if you happen to play a Red Dragon and he sticks, then you're going to be dealing quite a significant amount of damage to your opponent, you know what I mean? And you're probably going to be winning the game if you're not already so far behind the game that you just kind of lose anyway, no matter what you do, you know what I mean? I should also throw this out real quick. All the card alterations, the color alterations, come from TopHatCat, who does all the art for my channel. He did the Deck Doctor picture. He did my channel art with Karthos with the sunglasses. He did all these color alterations. The only thing he didn't do is he didn't put in the effects. I went and did that in Paint last night, because that's the extent of my artistic skill is MS Paint. When I asked him to make these cards for me, I didn't have the effects cemented, what they would do, you know, exactly what they would do in my mind. I didn't have them cemented, so I had to go in and do that myself. But I tried to get as close as possible. So an enemy creature gets -4, -4. I've contemplated adding in also giving him -1 speed permanently, but I felt that was just a little too much. I also thought for the Black Dragon, I also thought that he could do like -3/-3 if he kills the creature with his effect. Summon him as a zombie to your side of the field, kind of like a necromantic dragon sort of thing. But again, I thought that was a little too powerful, even though a card like that, kill it or give it -X/-X. If you kill it, summon it to your side. I would love a card like that in Spellweaver. I think with the right kind of balance, it could be really, really strong and not too strong. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I wanted to make this guy's ability permanent because otherwise it's basically just a worse red dragon. Because if you're gonna try and use it to kill something, then you'd rather be dealing 5 damage for 4 mana, not 4 damage for 4 mana. But because this is permanent, you could basically just throw it out to a bunch of your opponent's big creatures, and they suddenly stop being big creatures. They stop being threats. You know what I mean? Not to mention, it kills pretty much everything. It kills all of the angels except Antriel, but with Antriel it reduces her to a 2/2, so that's much more easily to manage. It kills Ancient Treant. It kills Karthos. It kills let's see. It also it kills pretty much everything. The only things it doesn't kill are Dread Knight and Undead Hydra, but you're probably not encountering those. And even then, like I said, it reduces them to a 2/2. Much, much easier to deal with as a 2/2 than a 6/6 or a 5/5. So, and being able to do this twice pretty much kills anything, much like Red Dragon's Breath. But, so 4 mana to basically Noxious Fumes your opponent twice. And it's a repeatable effect. So, I would love to see this card in Corruption. It would give Corruption kind of a late game slam on the table and kind of just start destroying things. It would also work really, really well paired up with Zyara, the Corruption Epic. Anyway, so this one was probably the first one that ever popped into my mind. Just nice, straightforward, nice and easy. Next, we move on to Blue Dragon, which could be called Cobalt Dragon, Azure Dragon. Azure Dragon sounds like something from Warcraft. Cobalt Dragon, I kind of like. This one I had a little bit of a back and forth in my mind with. I discussed this with a couple people, but eventually it just came down to 4 mana, freeze an enemy creature and each creature on the same line, which basically means you're freezing your entire opponent's either front row or back row. When I first thought of Blue Dragon, I wanted to give him some kind of an effect that was like a mass freeze, but I couldn't really think of anything that kind of pieced that together with something else. Like, originally I had thought deal 2 damage to every front row creature or frontline creature and freeze every backline creature. Kind of like he's breathing fire or breathing frost, and if you're so close in the front line, you just it's so cold it hurts, and then the other side it freezes all the weapons and everything. It is worth mentioning that I kept all of these abilities 4 mana because I wanted them to be kind of related thematically to what the dragon is breathing out as, like their breath. Like, Black Dragon breathes out noxious fumes, only at a much more concentrated, sense. This guy breathes a frost. I didn't want to do Storm because we already have a board-wide, shock effect. So I wanted to do a board-wide kind of freeze effect. I had contemplated, like, basically flash freezing the entire line, but that's pretty much hard removal. If it freezes and then deals 1 damage to everything, suddenly everything in that line just dies, and I felt that was a little too powerful. Being able to use this ability basically means that if you're using it, your opponent basically can't attack without having to sacrifice pretty much everything, unless they can attack where you can't block anyway, but that's neither here nor there. Basically, this means that if they're attacking, you can trade up. You can trade your 1/1 Elf Scout into their 10/10 I don't know, 10 giant dude, and it's a trade. You know what I mean? I wanted this kind of to be used by a smart player to really change the way the board works. Basically, I wanted this to be able to be more of a strategic move than just point it at your opponent's face and win the game. You know what I mean? You have to be a little more clever when it comes to using the wisdom. You have to have wisdom in order to win with this card. You have to be able to position your board. You have to be able to and again, if your opponent plays something new, you just freeze it, and it can kind of just help you win that way by locking your opponent into a position where anything they play has the potential to just die. You know what I mean? Plus, Blue Dragon combined with Fire Blast, suddenly you do have a board clear. You know what I mean? You freeze everything in your opponent's line, and Fire Blast dealing 1 damage to everything in that line instantly wipes the line. So I kept that in mind. I also kept in mind cards like Flash Freeze. I also kept in mind cards that deal damage and all the other aspects. And so this one I felt was a good compromise between freezing and dealing damage and just kind of dealing damage. I felt this one worked the best for Wisdom. Now next we've got Green Dragon, which I want to call Storm Breath Dragon, but I'm almost positive there's a magic card. A magic card called that. I really wanted to go with a landslide effect. I wanted to go with a Storm Dragon kind of idea for Green Dragon. And so, 4 mana, return 1 creature, artifact, or spell to its owner's hand and 1 to its owner's deck. And this would go, I should have put this down, but it goes to the bottom, or like gets shuffled into the deck. I did not, and I want to emphasize this, I did not want to basically give him Landslide as an ability, because I've played enough card games to know that if your opponent has a repeatable effect that lets you take a creature or anything and put it on top of your deck so that you're drawing it every turn, you know what I mean? If you have to play it in order to stay alive, but if you play it, it just gets bounced back. You're kind of locked down. I did not want to do an effect where your opponent could lock you down and win through sheer draw lock. That's no fun. I've played card games where draw locks were a thing, and it's just it's frustrating and it's infuriating and it's just not fun. So originally I was going to do 2 cards back to the bottom of the deck, or into the deck, shuffled into the deck. This should say shuffled into the deck, but I kind of ran out of room. But I really wanted to capture the essence of Landslide, and maybe this guy could be called Landslide Dragon, you know what I mean? Or Storm Slide, or people much more creative than me can come up with a clever name for this to kind of combine Tornado Outbreak and Landslide into something very clever. But I wanted to maintain the ability of Landslide, but I also wanted to maintain the versatility of it too, and versatility of like the bounce effects in nature. So being able to bounce anything back to your opponent's hand is something we don't have. So you could bounce a lamp, you could bounce a silencer if you were able to get the dragon through to the silencer. That's a stupid example. Or your opponent plays the silencer after you play this. There you go. So, or you can, if it's something that's really kind of, has an enter the battlefield effect or something you don't want them to replay, then you can send it back to their deck. 2 cards back to the deck repeatedly was probably too powerful. That's why I took 1 to the hand and 1 to the deck as the effect for it. I also wanted to maintain the artifact or spell removal aspect, primarily because we don't have enough of that. And I didn't realize this is in nature, which already has Test of Time and Venerated Unicorn and Landslide. But hopefully, this card is good enough to be splashed in things that aren't really, that would play other aspects. Maybe. I'm hoping. Anyway. We're going to move on to the last dragon. And this is, I wanted it to be Golden Dragon. I forgot to mention that to TopHatCat. So this should be Golden Dragon or Glory Dragon or some kind of Angel Blessed Dragon for all. Again, the names aren't really what I was going for. I was going for the effects of each one. I could definitely come up with some more like official, more like, you know, fantasy sounding names for each of these dragons, but again, that's not the intention of this. The intention of this are the effects. Anyway, 4 mana, put 4 might emblems on any number of creatures, which means you could put all 4 on one creature. You could put 2 and 2. You can go 1 1 1 1 if you want to. Like if you're playing soldiers, you can go 1 1 1 1. But the one thing I wanted to mention that I made sure to include in this, especially since this is the Order Dragon, I wanted to include the ability to put them on enemy creatures. Now, why would you ever buff an enemy creature? Well, that's because of Ray of Righteousness, right? Yeah, Ray of Righteousness. I keep getting that confused with a magic card called Ray of Revelations. But Ray of Righteousness, what is its one weakness? Its one weakness is that it has to hit a creature with 3 or more power. And that's not hitting Foundry Engineer. That's not hitting Spell Warden. That's not hitting weak Infernal Vultures. That's not hitting a bunch of the back row stuff that can really just screw you over. And in Order, you have no way of killing it. But if you're able to buff it up to a point where it does have enough hit point or enough attack to be hit by Ray of Revelations, then all of a sudden you can kill it and deal with it in Order without having to splash another color. Or aspect, I mean. I'm so sorry. So that's why I wanted to make sure this had the versatility of being able to do, or being able to hit enemy creatures. I thought that was a really cool idea. Maybe I'm just, you know, maybe I'm just crazy here, but I thought this would be a really cool effect. So it helps you win the game by making your creatures bigger. You can make one creature ridiculously strong by, you know, using his ability twice and putting 8 might emblems on him. I kind of wanted to. This one was kind of inspired by Cavalry Field Captain. I was contemplating fewer might emblems, but also being able to increase the speed of them. But I felt like 4 might emblems was just nice and kind of straightforward, being able to spread them out. And I felt like that was just a better alternative to buffing the speed. I kind of like Cavalry Field Captain maintaining that unique ability in Order. I don't think there's anything else other than like the, what is it, Protector of the Innocent, that has vigilance, that kind of boosts speed in Order, and I really like that Cavalry Field Captain being a horseman is kind of a unique ability. So the last one, just because I want to show off the art that I'm sure TopHatCat spent way longer than he wanted to on doing this. The purple dragon, or the I don't know fancy words for purple, mauve dragon, I don't know. Again, the names aren't important. I wanted to show off the artwork because he deserves to have it shown off, and I tried for a long time to try and come up with something for purple dragon or for Dominion Dragon. And again, I couldn't come up with anything better than Lord Karthos. I mean, why would you? I mean, why would any ability this guy has, other than like play it, gain 20 life and win the game, why would you play this when you could play Lord Karthos, except for the fact that it's a 5/5 with speed 3 as opposed to a 4/4 with speed 2, you know? Why would you play this when you have Lord Karthos? And so I tried, I kept it on the back burner in my mind for a long time. The best thing I could come up with was something along the lines of like, put a weakness, or 4 mana, put 2 weakness counters on 2 creatures, and like put 2 might emblems on purple dragon or something like that. You know what I mean? I just couldn't come up with anything that I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the effect. I mean, something along the lines of a vampire dragon, maybe, kinda. And even then, I'm not 100% sold on that idea. So if you guys have an idea, you know, put it in the comments below. again, I felt like this wasn't exactly necessary, considering Lord Karthos is kind of just a dragon in his own right. I mean, imagine if this dragon had the effect, was a flyer, and had the effect of Lord Karthos, the exact effect. Everyone would be like, holy shit, this card is ridiculous, it's too good, ban it. You know? So, I didn't do a whole lot with this guy just because, you know, freaking Karthos is so much better. And that's just going to do it for me with this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed these. I kind of enjoy doing these speculations of what could we see in the next set. And as after the balancing patch, which the devs say is going to hit late next week or early the week after that, I'll have a better understanding as to where the devs are headed, and maybe I'll do a speculation on cards we could see in the next set, or maybe just cards I'd like to see in the next set. I've already have a couple ideas of cards I would like to see in Spellweaver in general, and you know, maybe I'll do a video on that if I can get TopHatCat to do some you know, alter art for me or whatever. So thank you, TopHatCat, for the photo alterations. I cannot words today. And thanks you so much, guys, for watching. I'm kind of enjoying doing this Spellweaver speculation series, and especially since we're kind of winding down to this set and we're kind of gearing up towards the next set and the next whatchamacallit, the next balancing patch. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think the way I read it, the way I understood it, is that the devs said that this set, the base set, isn't exactly complete yet. So we could see a couple of new cards coming out as just kind of an addition, like what we had with in the closed beta when they released Chalice of Yunks and, what was it, Exercise and Dispel, were the two cards that aren't in the game anymore. We could see a handful of cards come out added to this set before we go on to the next set, and that'd be really cool. I would love to see that. But again, that's just speculation on my part. So, based off a little something that one of the devs said that I probably misunderstood. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up, comment, subscribe, whole nine, you know, my usual speech. And as always, guys, may the cards rise to meet you and bring good RNG to your enemies' enemies.